Good morning, Blue Jays fans, and welcome to Jays Latest. I am your host, Craig Borden, and we're going to talk all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball today on Jays Latest. Make sure you hit those like, share, and subscribe for all the rumors, news, and everything going on in Toronto Blue Jays baseball. So, the rumors won't go away. The Toronto Blue Jays have been forever linked, apparently, to the Arizona Diamondbacks slash, pitchers. So the Blue Jays have been linked to the Arizona Diamondbacks by pretty much every baseball writer you can humanly imagine, but the rumors seem to be getting some smoke to the fire at least. So let's talk about the one that seems to be the better fit at the moment is the fact that the Blue Jays obviously could get a couple of rentals from Arizona. And the one that we haven't talked about yet on this show is Zach Gallen. When you're looking at Merrill Kelly versus Zach Gallen, obviously Zach Gallen is a former level Cy Young Award winner. He's going to be a free agent for the first time in his career after this season, and he's been having a rough go. So there is a little bit of a buy lowish or whatever you want to call it, because at the end of the day, it's still Zach Gallen. But he's just been having some rough times over his last few games, especially since these trade rumors are gone. And obviously, his team has been going the wrong direction. He did manage to pick up a win in one of them. I think that's the crazier thing. You gave up 7 earned runs, you still pick up a win. But he has had 7 and 5 earned runs in his last couple of starts, including the one 2 days ago against the White Sox where he gave up 5. So we know that one all too well, Blue Jays fans, after watching the White Sox beat us up for a series. So, but Zach Gallen is a career 3.55 ERA, and he's done really, really well in Arizona. Obviously, it was a big part of their near World Series, and it's just a really good pitcher the Blue Jays could get a chance to get in here. He's 29 years old. Obviously, he's got time left on the clock. It would be a good get him to Toronto with whatever trade pieces you have to do, and being a rental, he should be a little cheaper. But he would be one of those guys you could probably potentially turn around and keep with an extension, kind of a la Jose Barrios, who is going to be on the mound today. So that being said, I would love to see Zach Gallen in a Blue Jay uniform. I think he fits our culture. I think he fits everything for the kind of guy that he is as far as what he wants to bring to a ball club. I think him and Mad Max would click perfectly along with Barrios, Bassett, and company. Um, and like I said, I think you're going to have to give up something pretty good for him. But at the end of the day, Arizona is in that how do we rebuild? And then they're going to turn around and probably solve some of their pitching problems with money this off season. So you might be able to get away with trading some of our, very talented outfielders to this ball club and get away from it and go from there. Because right now, I think we need that fifth starter. I love Eric Lawler. I think he's been doing great, but there is something about having him in that bullpen that really also lengthens this thing out. Especially if somebody does have that rough day on the mound and needs to be brought in. But depth right now at the pitching rotation is one of my biggest things, along with maybe solidifying that back end of the bullpen. Zach Gallen would spell that success. And like I said, he's come off of recently a few really good years, and he has not had above a 4 ERA over the last 3 seasons. So right now, what we're seeing with a 5.75 ERA is hopefully a blip on the radar and more of a symptom of how the D-backs have been performing this season. So let's talk what happened in Cleveland yesterday, everybody, because I is this a rivalry that's all of a sudden becoming a thing? Because yesterday, for the second day in a row, Vlad gets plunked, and it didn't seem like there was anything horrible the first one, but yesterday he left the game after getting hit kind of in the forearm here with a contusion. X-rays came out negative, so Vladdy appears to be okay. Hopefully he just needs a day or two of rest, and he'll be back in there mashing baseballs like he was. Um, but him leaving the game kind of spells in baseball old schoolness. You better hurry up and get somebody on their team. And like I said, malicious or not, everybody's kind of downplaying it right now. But Jose Ramirez got hit in a similar fashion by Kevin Gossman yesterday, and benches didn't really clear or anything, but there was definitely some heated words exchanged. Both benches were warned about doing it again, And this is baseball for you. That's how the grittiness of it is. If you go 2 days in a row with Vlad getting plunked, is very suspicious. If you're going to talk about, balls getting away from you and everything like that, it's ironic. It's just if you're in that dugout, they're going after your best guy, is what it feels like. So had to do something about it. You just don't want him to continue throwing at all of our good guys. So Gossman stepped up if that indeed was the plan and got him. So Jose Ramirez it actually left the game too. Same thing. Contusion, no broken bones or anything at the moment from the X-rays came out negative. So what the rest of the game? Blue Jays collect 6 hits, and score 6 runs. Kevin Gossman cruises for most of this and only allows 2 hits. The Cleveland Guardians, regardless of the plays that happened with errors that led to Blue Jays runs, this would have still turned out as a Blue Jays win, but the Cleveland Guardians gifted this one and looked like a team that weren't ready to play yesterday. Kicked the ball around in the second inning or third inning a little bit to the tune of allowing 3 runs, and similar things happened throughout the game, and it was just hard to watch this one. They it said kick the ball around the infield. The Blue Jays did legit score a run on Nathan Lucas's single. Tyler Heineman runs around and along with Jonathan Clase on that. Errors cause more fun. Like I mentioned, led to the third run. Um, is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. But at the end of the game, Alejandro Kirk had the bases loaded when he comes in and pinch hits and really puts this one out of reach for the Cleveland Guardians. Scores 3 runs because the speedy Jonathan Clase comes in for the third run, and Alejandro Kirk gets 3 ribbies. Um, so, like I said, it was a fun game. Some craziness happened, all sorts of errors, comedy of them that led to the Blue Jays 6 runs. But then the main story of the game is the fact that Gossman was insanely good yesterday. Um, Outside the retaliating for his teammate, 104 pitches, and he allows just the 2 hits, as I mentioned, only allows one other base runner with a walk. 6 strikeouts, drops his ERA significantly. Is at 4.21 right now, and evens his record out to 6-6. This was a start vastly needed for Kevin Gossman, who has been having some rough difficulties of late. This re-solidified that the splitter is doing the splits, and he's able to keep things moving. So Toronto Blue Jays pick up a win behind the wonderful arm of Kevin Gossman yesterday, holding a very talented lineup in the Cleveland Guardians in check. Chad Green ended up coming out of the bullpen, and to most people's shivers lately, even with the 6-run lead, he didn't allow a hit. So allows one base runner with a walk, struck out one, but he ends up getting the not anything, I guess, but he gets an inning of work in with no troubles. So good to see that Gossman had that such of an outing. But next, heading off to Boston, party people. It's going to be Jose Barrios versus Brian Bello. Bello has been having a pretty good season for the Boston Red Sox as he's 3-2 with a 3.31 ERA in 12 starts. He's had a couple of outings here recently that he's pitched 11 innings in the last 2 starts against the Yankees and the San Francisco Giants. He's only allowed 1 run and 7 hits. So the Blue Jays are running into Bello, who has been currently hot. The biggest ding against that for him is the Toronto Blue Jays have had a very good history of hitting against Brian Bello. Especially Vlad. If he's in the lineup today, Vlad has been 417 against him, 10 RBIs and 2 home runs. George Springer being the other one that's got plethora of hits. Funny enough, Addison Barger doesn't have a ton of hits against him, but he's got, in 8 bats, he's batting 500. So there you go. So Blue Jays have a chance to maybe end that streak against for Bello as far as how well he's pitching. He's going to be facing Jose Barrios, who is fresh off of a really, really, really good start against the Chicago White Sox, 7 2/3, no earned runs after having a few goose eggs in random starts before that. His one against the Phillies obviously stands out where he allowed 6 earned runs, but Barrios is obviously having a great season with a 3.51 ERA in 16 starts, 95 innings, continuing to rack up strikeouts at 85. So, I'm sorry, 81. But that's it, Blue Jays fans. We'll be back tomorrow. All sorts of new rumors and everything. Head over to Jaybird Watching for jaybirdwatching.com for new articles and videos and everything too, along with hitting those like, share, subscribe buttons for us here at Jay's Latest. And we will talk all things Blue Jays baseball tomorrow. Cheers.